There's something that we don't speak to very often, and that is the safety that we feel or do not feel in our bodies. It's something that we neglect a great deal. We become so accustomed to the rigor and the vigor of life that we just forget to check in with our bodies. So many of us have experienced pain and suffering and trauma and difficulty and challenges as young children during our developmental years, forming who we are and who we're being. That as adults we forget that the experiences that we once had that were quite painful for us continue to trigger a very subtle but very clear sympathetic nervous system response. So we're moving through the world in this state of fight, flight or freeze without even knowing, because A, it's subtle, and B, we're just accustomed to it. It's how we've learned to survive. And so I want to provide you today with 6 steps, and I'm going to express these in no particular order, but 6 steps to just help you feel safer in your body. I found that in my own experience, I spent so much of my childhood trying to feel safe, trying to understand my environment, to know what was going on, because I lived in a volatile environment. There was violence, there was abuse, there was unpredictability, and it was difficult as a kid to be able to really gauge what's happening in my world. So I developed techniques to feel safe in my body, to feel safe in my mind, to give me reassurance. Maybe you're one of those people that finds that you need more and more reassurance as an adult in your life. Maybe you find that in relationships you're really needy. Maybe one of your coping strategies was people pleasing. If I make everybody else happy and I sacrifice my own needs, I minimize myself and maximize others, but I also minimize the potential to be safe in my body, to feel safe mentally. And so whatever coping strategy you developed as a young child, or maybe actually, and this is an important one, maybe you learned to really fight, to become hyper aggressive, to attack before being attacked. Maybe you use sarcasm or even intellect in that attacking. Maybe it was physical violence. Maybe you developed your body so that people would be intimidated physically by you. But whatever your coping strategy, whatever you've developed, if it's staying with you as an adult and there's discomfort there and you feel disconnected and you don't feel safe in your body, you're only going to push people away. Remember, we're social relational beings. We want to be in each other's company. We want to connect with each other, give and receive love, feel love. This is important to us. We are driven by these behaviors. Yes, we are driven by fertilization-driven sex. We are. That is primal within us to bond in that way, but there are also bonding mechanisms within us that help us relate to each other, help us stay in longer term sustainable relationships. And that is sabotaged, or rather that suffers, when we are in this constant state of unconscious panic, if you like. We're in this constant state of, I don't feel safe, but I can't put words to that. I can't even say that I don't feel safe, but I just know something's not right. And so you'll do whatever it takes to feel safe. And that often means pushing people away, sacrificing your own needs, wearing masks because you don't want to feel rejected or humiliated or abused, and all of that goes with it. So the opportunity that we have is to step deeper into our bodies and start to feel safe. So let me help you. The first step is to get out of the sympathetic nervous system and move into the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system can be considered as the gas in a car, the pedal, the accelerating pedal, which it prompts you to be reactive, to act in the world very fast and with acute awareness. Whereas the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, is almost the brakes, slowing down. When you're in parasympathetic, the body knows it's safe. We're often in this heightened beta wave brain state and sympathetic nervous system combined, and we're so accustomed to it that we don't even know that we're in it. And so some ways that you can get out of sympathetic is periodically during the day, engage in slow, mindful breathing. Nothing too deep, just slow breathing. You can count your breaths. One way to relax your nervous system is a very simple dyadic breath where your inhale is about half the tempo or half the time of your exhale. You can inhale through your nose for 5 count, exhale through your nose for a 10 count. Nice and slow. Do that for 3 to 5 minutes, as many times as you want, all day, every day, when you're feeling stress or anxiety or overwhelm or you're feeling jittery. Another way is mindfulness practice, to get out of sympathetic and just pause for a moment. The power of pause is very powerful, of course, and just look around the room or the space that you're in and just begin to name objects and label them, label their characteristics, what's their texture, what's their colors, how do they feel to you, what's your relationship to them, and begin to ground yourself in the present moment. Other mindfulness practices are being in nature and enacting your senses. So what are you smelling, what are you seeing, what can you touch and feel? You can even just squeeze your fingertips to just help get you out of that low level sympathetic nervous system. Routine and familiarity is really important as well. So surrounding your environment with familiar objects, that's important. That can help you get out of that sympathetic and help you feel safer and more grounded. That structure in your day, so the routine and the structure in your day is very important because, again, that's the masculine container holding the feminine expression, the way that you are, emote, express, interact in the day. And having that solid masculine structure, it can give you confidence. So let me go on to the next phase, which is confidence building. So there are many ways to gain confidence. One is to do things and have experiences that you're not accustomed to and then actually move through those experiences with quote unquote success. Challenge yourself, for example, exercise every day. That can be challenging. So you go through those challenges and you're cultivating confidence in your being. Learning new skills is a way to cultivate confidence. Saying things that you really want to say to someone, and maybe it's writing a letter and then burning that letter or ripping it up, and that gives you some confidence and understanding of, okay, this is how I can communicate with this person. So that can be very helpful as well. We want to deal with the next step, the third step is really dealing with the trauma of the past. In other words, this is called, quote unquote, doing our work, being responsible for the experiences that we had, not, of course, being responsible for other people's actions, being responsible for your healing. And if you've experienced trauma or pain or difficulty, then dealing with that in real time is going to be very helpful. Seek professional advice. Work with a shaman, a spiritual guide, a counselor, a therapist, a psychologist. Really go deeper into that. The fourth thing that you can do to help you feel safer in your body is emoting and expressing with people that you trust, people that aren't going to shame you and judge you. That could be a therapist or hired help, for example, or it could be a dear friend where you're learning to just push the edges, go beyond the edges of what's comfortable for you to express, because that can liberate you and liberate your body and help you feel safer in your body. And that weight off your shoulders of not expressing, it starts to lift and shift, and that's really powerful. The fifth thing that you can do is surround yourself with people that you trust, respect, and revere, groups of people. Now, whether that could be a support group, whether that's a group of friends, family members, but be surrounded by people that you trust. That's going to help lower cortisol levels, lower the release of adrenaline that's just subtly, constantly being released in your body, and it's going to help you feel more connected to your environment as well. And the last thing that I would say, and of course there are many things that you can do, I've just chosen 6 today, is journal your fears. Journal all the fears you have. Write out all the fears that you have. And then burn that piece of paper. Be aware of them, but burn that piece of paper. And replace those fears with what's an alternative? What's an alternative way to feel and be in the world? Begin to understand your fears. Don't neglect them. Don't negate them. Don't polarize yourself. Don't forget about who you are. Don't fracture yourself. The whole of you is very important. That includes your fears. That includes the painful experiences that you've had. That includes the difficulty that you've experienced. It includes all of that. So begin to understand your fears. Write them out and burn them. That's a beautiful ceremony. There's great power in ceremony and ritual. Ceremony is one of those one-off experiences. Ritual is those daily habits that we bring into our world every day that help us, well, they're regular habits at least. They don't have to be daily, but they're regular habits that help us connect to a deeper, grounded version of ourselves. And so these 6 steps or these 6 paths to feeling safer in the body really just help you move and navigate through life in a more effective, profound way. You're living more of your truth, you're stepping into your power, you're living out your potential. As a bonus, I want to say this. Doing that inner child work is absolutely crucial. Those parts of us that were neglected, those parts of us that are holding on to fear, that are not seen, that carry low self-worth, and those parts of us that want to be joyful and playful and express in the world that maybe don't know how. Inner child work is everything. My beautiful wife and I, Christine Hassler, have an inner child workshop that we're running, a level 1 workshop in August and level 2 in October. The first level 1 that we ran was a massive success. We had over 300 people sign up. It was just an amazing 2.5-day virtual immersive experience. And you'll be able to find out more about that, of course, in my bio and in the copy as well. But it's an amazing way to start to shift these unsafe experiences that we had as children, and so many of us have had this, and move into a more freedom-based reality. And that's the power of that. So blessings to you. Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon. Take care.